Hey, welcome back. Chapter 7, Scorpions. Mama had burned her hand real bad in the morning. Sassy had been getting ready to go to school when she opened her school bag and all of her crayons fell out. They started rolling all over the floor, and some rolled under the ironing board. Mama was ironing Jamal's shirt. What are you doing, girl? Mama shouted as Sassy started scrambling around on the floor, picking up the crayons. Jamal saw the whole thing happen, just like a movie. Sometimes he saw things like that. First, Mama started to look over the ironing board to see where Sassy was, and then she hit the cord, and the iron was with her arm. Then she hit the cord to the iron with her arm, and the iron fell over. It wasn't going to fall off the ironing board, but Mama grabbed it anyway. She grabbed it with her bare hand and pulled it away from the edge of the board. Sassy, move! I'm just getting my crayons, Sassy said, but Jamal already had seen Mama jerk her hand away from the iron. Are you okay, Mama? Mama stood the iron up with her hand and held onto the handle. What's wrong? Sassy stood up. Mama was shaking her hand. What Then she saw that Sassy wasn't going to be burned. She went right over to the sink and ran some cold water over the burn. Jamal didn't look at Mama's hand. He looked at her face. Mama's teeth were tight together and her eyes were closed. Mama? Sassy turned her head to one side so she could see Mama's face too. It ain't nothing, girl, Mama said. Get on to school before you be late. Jamal didn't say anything. He put his shirt on real fast so Mama wouldn't try to finish ironing it. It looked okay anyway. Dwayne started some mess in school. First, Myrna got into trouble for blowing a bubble in the classroom. Myrna was always doing things and not getting caught, but this time Mrs. Rich caught her blowing the bubble. Then Myrna started saying stupid things about Mrs. Rich and how short her hair was and stuff. And then Dwayne started. Nobody paid him any attention. Then he started on Jamal. How come your shirt look okay from the front and all wrinkled up in the back? He said, making sure everyone could hear him. How come your face is all wrinkled up? Jamal said. Dwayne kicked him from across the aisle. Jamal waited for Miss Rich as she was facing the board, and then he kicked Dwayne back as hard as he could from the back of his leg. I'm going to punch you in your eye, faggot. Dwayne stood up. Sit down, Mrs. Rich's voice cut through the classroom. He kicked me. I didn't kick him. I'm going to get you outside. Dwayne sat down. He was nodding his head, and then he started punching his fist into the palm of his hand. Jamal wasn't scared of Dwayne. He had already fought Dwayne once. Everybody said that Dwayne won the fight because Jamal had a cut lip. But Jamal had got Dwayne 2 times in the face, and it was Dwayne, even though he was a lot bigger than Jamal, who had stopped fighting first. In science, they saw a movie. It was about water pollution. One part showed birds covered with oil on a beach, and the oil was so thick that the birds couldn't fly. That's Jamal's mama, Dwayne's voice came through the back of the room. Jamal didn't feel like fighting. Let's just go, Tito said. I ain't gonna punk out. And he's too big. I don't care. Dwayne came down the street with Billy Ware, Myrna, and Ralph Williams. Jamal gave Tito his books to hold and then crossed his arms in front of him. Fight! Myrna called out, and some of the kids from across the street started crossing over. So why'd you kick me, fool? Dwayne stood as close as he could to Jamal. 'Cause I did, Jamal said. Dwayne pushed Jamal, and Jamal pushed him back. Then Dwayne kicked Jamal just below the knee. Oh, the pain was sudden, and Jamal bent over and grabbed his knee. Dwayne hit him on the back of his head, and Jamal grabbed Dwayne around the waist. Dwayne was almost 14, big, and he could hit hard. He kept punching Jamal in the back, but Jamal wouldn't let go of his waist. He tried to hold Dwayne and kick his legs, but he couldn't reach them. Then he started forward, forcing Dwayne back, faster and faster until they stopped. Jamal could see they'd fallen against a car. Dwayne tried to turn Jamal around to get him up against the car. Jamal grabbed Dwayne's legs and lifted it and pushed forward again. Dwayne slid along the car and then went down. On the ground, Jamal let go of Dwayne and started punching. Dwayne got him in the face twice, and he swung back at Dwayne's face. And they were lying on the ground punching, and Dwayne was trying to kick him when two men pulled them apart. "You guys got nothing better to do than to tear your damn clothes up?" Both of them were mailmen. Jamal looked at his shirt, and he saw that it was torn. "Hey, Dwayne," Myrna called out. "You got doo-doo on your pants." Dwayne looked at his pants and he turned back toward Jamal when he saw what was on them. "I'm going to get you again tomorrow," Dwayne was saying. "You go that way," one mailman pointed down the street and pushed Dwayne in that direction. "And you go this way." "Are you okay?" Tito was waiting for Jamal. "Yeah," Jamal answered. "Look, loan me your sweater so my mother don't see I tore my shirt." Tito took off his sweater and gave it to Jamal. "I think you won the fight," Tito said. "He don't hit so hard, right?" "Oh, no, he hit pretty hard, but I got some in too." "And he the one that rolled in that dog do. I wish his face had rolled in it." "What you gonna do if he start up again tomorrow?" "Start up with him." Mama wasn't home. Sassy was in her room, and Jamal went straight to the bathroom. He took the shirt off and looked at it. Dwayne had torn his pocket off and ripped the shirt down the front. Jamal's face hurt too. He had a bruise on his elbow, and then he hadn't noticed before. "Hey, Jamal, are you in there?" "Yeah." "Come out." "Why?" "I gotta pee." "Shut up." "Come on out, I gotta pee." Jamal opened the door and came out. "Ooh, what happened to you?" Sassy asked. "Nothing." "Oh, don't tell me nothing. I thought you had to pee." "Well, I don't have to pee now." "Where Mama?" "She went to work for Mr. Staton," Sassy said. "How's her hand?" "Ooh, it's messed up. She put some lard on it, and then she put a bandage on it." So lard on this would be like Vaseline or Neosporin or something, but to heal that blister. Sassy started to do her homework on the kitchen table. Jamal went into Sassy's room and opened the closet. Jamal went through it until he found Randy's old Scorpions jacket. Randy had two Scorpions jackets. One was larger than the other. It was the smaller one that Jamal tried on. It was still too big for him, but not by much. Everybody was talking about the fight when Jamal got to school the next day. Dwayne had reached school first, and he was talking about how he had beat up Jamal. "He looks okay to me," Myrna said when she saw Jamal. Oswaldo Vasquez said that the fight had been even, and most of the kids who liked Jamal said it was, and the ones who liked Dwayne said that Dwayne, had won. Jamal didn't think that the fight was even. He thought he had probably lost it, but it didn't mean anything to him. He knew he couldn't fight his best when he was thinking about his mama and getting Randy out of jail and stuff like that. Some of the girls started giggling and pointing at him, but he just let it go. "We're going to have to settle this mess," Dwayne said when he reached Matt. "Are you going to punk out?" "I'll be there," Jamal said. "Just bring your butt so I can kick it again." Dwayne had called him out in front of everybody. like he was in a movie or something. Jamal thought that's how Dwayne was getting off, like a cowboy. Jamal told himself that this time the fight would be different. He was going to try and tear Dwayne's shirt, and then, instead of grabbing him around the waist, he was going to go for his face right away. Today we're going to study decimals, Mrs. Rich was saying. Who can tell me where the word decimal comes from? Excuse me for that. Today we're going to study decimals, Mrs. Rich was saying. Who can tell me where the word decimal comes from? The night before, Mama hadn't gotten home until almost 10:30. Jamal and Sassy had been worried. Sassy didn't even fall asleep the way that she usually did. And when Mama got home, she had some Kentucky Fried Chicken and French fries. How come you're so late? Mr. Stanton let me work until 9:15. As slow as I was working with this hand, I wouldn't have made no money quitting at 5:30. Your hand bother you a lot? Jamal asked. It's okay, Mama said. I'll take this bandage off and let it get some air. It'll be okay in the morning. Jamal looked over at Sassy. It had been her fault. And her stupid crayons all over the floor that Mama had burned her hand in the first place. Sassy had given him a look right back. Jamal, do you ever think there will be a day when you'll pay attention in this class? Mrs. Rich asked. Yes, ma'am. So can you give me the decimal for the fraction of 5/10? No, ma'am. The day took forever. He saw Tito in the hallway, and Tito said that he had changed his mind about the boats. Now he was going to go buy the big boat first, too. It's too late now, Jamal said. You already said you're going to buy the small boat. I'm going to buy the same size boat that man was on, Tito said. I'm going to get a bigger boat than that, Jamal said. So I'm still going to beat you to Puerto Rico. Not if my father's on the boat, Tito said, because he knows all things about how to get to Puerto Rico. So I can get me a map. He don't need a map. Yeah. Well, you were going to wait. Are you going to wait for me outside? Yeah. Jamal forgot about the fight with Dwayne until the last period, when Dwayne started it up again. Dwayne pushed Jamal as they walked into the classroom. Dwayne, what's your problem? The teacher asked. I don't have a problem. Dwayne had this big smile on his face and he was looking around. Well, I think you do. Mrs. Mitchell was tall, with gray-blue eyes. And you can stay after school until you solve it. I can't stay this afternoon, Dwayne said. I got something to do. He looked at Jamal and a few of the other kids and started laughing. You'll stay, Mrs. Mitchell said. During the class, Dwayne whispered something to Billy, and Jamal saw Billy writing a note. Billy put it on Jamal's desk, but Jamal pushed it off. When Mrs. Mitchell left the class to get some ditto sheets, Billy turned to Jamal. Dwayne wants to know if you're going to wait for him outside, Billy said aloud. Or are you going to run like a punk? Dwayne asked. I'm going to run over to your house and see your mama, Jamal said. Dwayne threw his spelling workbook at Jamal. The pages opened and it fluttered through the air, and Mrs. Mitchell came in. Dwayne, did you just throw that book? I went to hand it to you. Quiet, Mrs. Mitchell shut Dwayne out. Jamal stood on the corner after school. He knew that Dwayne had to stay until at least 3:30. He wasn't sure if he was going to wait for him or not. He wanted some of the kids to see him there so they wouldn't say that he was too scared to show up. Yo, Jamal. Jamal looked up to see Mac. What's happening? let's take a walk. I got